Hello, everyone. This is Leonard Guzman here with Emily Robinson on the Life After D podcast. It's April 26th. This is surprising. I'm like, I don't know what day it is anymore. I changed my background to change things up, but it's going to be May soon. I know, with the divorce thing, I know a lot of my divorce friends, right? Because we're in LA. We're in Los Angeles, and it's like every other person's divorced. And this thing with school, like school starting up, I hear parents dropping off their kids. I'm like, whoa, this is news. So what's the latest, Emily?
Yes, it's great that schools are opening, although it's just in time for summer, so they're not going to be open very long. But no, I think that's great that we're starting to get back to normal. And yeah, it's good news. The courts are, opening, although there's still, special COVID restrictions in there. But for the most part, things are starting to turn back to normal. I think that's a big positive.
Okay, so the first news article we have kind of mesh well. So let's get into it. So this part of the show, we go over news, we see trending, and Emily kind of breaks it down and sees tells us what's really going on. Okay, so the first article here, the biggest challenge of divorce: the kids' school clothes are always at the wrong house. We have 8 ties to prevent last minute scrambles, but the return after Easter still led to a game of hunt the shoes and remind me of the school play incident. This is from the Guardian.com. The worst thing about being divorced when you have kids that something's always in the wrong house. You only ever realize it 5 seconds before you need it and never ends. Maybe it's the only pen in the right nib for homework, and no, obviously the other pen with identical nib won't do because it's the wrong color, or perhaps it's a charger without which no electricity can be connected to, or a hair clip in the shape of a snake that makes sense the entire outfit. Once it was a piece of paper with the instructions on it for a project, which turned out simply read, draw a diagram of the life cycle of a plastic bag, but only after every adult in postcode had turned themselves inside out looking for it. So it's never about the huge or tiny things. It's only about the emotions, all the rage and frustration and kindness a kid might feel. This huge thing just happened, and the life is now different and worse, and they weren't consulted. And what idiotic thing might a parent decide to do next? So we go down. So this is kind of like a common thing, like between. I hear this also with when parents drop their kids off at like the grandparents' house, and it's just like, where's everything? And like this part
Yeah.
says like I need something for school and I can't find it.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, imagine if you lived in two places and you had to make sure all your essentials got from one place to the other multiple times a week. That's not easy, and I think it is stressful for a lot of kids. Um, and on top of it, you're dealing with the emotions that your family's, different now and broken up and living in two different houses. So, sometimes it alleviates that to do like a week on, week off schedule where you're with one parent the whole week and the other parent the next week. So there's not as much back and forth. But some kids don't like that because they want to see their parents more frequently. So it's just like anything in life. You've got to just get yourself organized. It's like, when you're in college and you have 5 classes in the same day and you've got to make sure you have the right stuff for the right class. Um, I think it's just really important for parents to work with the kids to make sure they know how to organize themselves. And sometimes you'd have duplicates of things at each parent's house. But as far as the schoolwork, yeah, you just got to stay very organized. And, at least luckily in this day of digital technology, if you left something at one parent's house, hopefully they can scan it to you so that, or take a picture so you can get it and make it a lot easier.
Yeah, when you go shop on Amazon, you just put instead of getting one, you just get two, and that's what I
Exactly.
do. That's what I do with my wife. We're not divorced; we're married, but I need something for my bathroom and her bathroom, or something like upstairs and downstairs. I would have two things, makes things easier. I mean, if you'd like what was it, like some soap or some lotion, it just if you're gonna use it, it doesn't perish. So it's like you might as well make your life easier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to have my own bathroom. That's nice setup.
Well, it's actually it's an office, but it's like a guest bedroom that no one uses. So I don't know if that counts. Yeah.
Hey,
So.
that counts. When you're sharing a bathroom with a husband and two kids, yeah, it counts.
All right. So here's something else. Like I've been exploring. So this one is from lifehacker.com. What's a sleep divorce, and when should you consider one? When you actually stop to think about it, sharing a bed with another person for the purpose of sleeping is kind of a terrible idea. Sure, you may get used to sleeping next to a partner and feel more secure doing so, but in terms of sleep quality and disruption, it's hard to beat having your own bed with everyone chronically exhausted. You'd think that we do everything in our power to get the best night's rest sleep, and yet it's still considered the norm for couples to sleep in the same bed, to the point where there's some stigma attached to not sharing a bed with a romantic partner, but it doesn't have to be that way. Just ask some couples who have opted to get a sleep divorce. So first, like, what's a sleep divorce, right? So a sleep divorce is when people in a relationship who typically share a bed realize that they might be better off with a separate sleeping arrangement, like I Love Lucy, twin beds. That doesn't really help because it's in the same room. But
Well,
the
yeah.
idea is that the idea is to take steps to make sure everyone involved gets the best night's sleep. And in a case, sleep divorce is not a reflection on your actual relationship. In fact, it could help improve your relationship in a number of ways, including being able to have more patience with each other during the day because you're well rested. So here's when to consider a sleep divorce. So it says in a 2019 article in the New York Times, they provided an in-depth look at the concept of sleep divorce, raising a number of reasons why it could be a solid option for couples. Some of these include sleeping on different schedules, snoring, no longer have the physical ability to share a bed comfortably, having different sleep hygiene standards, being bitter, resentful, getting in arguments about sleep, or sharing a bed, having different sleep preferences, like temperature. That's a big thing for me. Amount of blankets, and then TV. I'm okay not having it in the bedroom. So is this a common thing? Is this a trending thing? What are you hearing?
I know a lot of couples that are happily married but sleep separately because for those reasons you just said. I actually think it's really common. And I think, maybe especially as you get older and more set in your ways. But yeah, I think it's really common and I think it's fine if that's what makes your marriage happy and you guys can't sleep well in the same room, why not? It's not required that you share a bed and, have the same falling asleep habits. So I think it's common.
I think it's a luxury because, like, if you have to have like an extra bed. Like in college, I can't, like, I slept. My roommates were, you know, guys. Yeah, I never had a female roommate, but I we slept just fine. And then I get married, and then like I have sleeping problems. Like I didn't realize I snored. Like that was I who knew and I would be loud like when I turn. I don't know.
Yeah, your roommates never told you that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a luxury. I think it's if you have an extra bedroom. Yeah, so moving on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, maybe it'll save marriages. Uh, Yeah.
I think it would save a lot of marriages.
Okay, so here's a weird one. A couple married and divorced 4 times in a span of 37 days so they could take advantage of a honeymoon leave loophole. So this is from insider.com, but this is from Taiwan. So a Taiwanese couple used their nuptials to game the system and make the most of a honeymoon holiday. In a span of 37 days, they married 4 times and divorced 3 times. The man's employer said he was entitled to only 8 days off, but he ended up claiming 32. Is that like, is there anything in the US that has any loophole that we can take advantage of here?
Well, I don't know about the US, but in California, you could never do that because the divorce takes like 6 months. So you would never be able to divorce 3 times in 37 days. Um, yeah. So no, that wouldn't work here, but that's very creative.
You got to get those holidays. Like you just, maybe there's a long trip and they wanted to do it. That's like a long honeymoon. That's like a month off that they were able to game the
I
system.
know. I mean, that's not common here either to get that much time off, but it's a great idea.
He's probably the only one who thought of it in the whole country in Taiwan. Good for him. All right, let's go to the next one. The OaklandPress.com. Break the cycle of repeating behavior from parents' divorce. Okay, so as a child of high conflict divorce, Ginger Gentile his firsthand experience with the damaging effects of divorce on a young adult development, personally and professionally. She's urging young adults to follow these steps to help break the cycle and introduce healthy and productive relationship. Number one, children of divorce often have trouble setting boundaries. Learn how to be friendly, yet firm when people overstep. Number two, you heal. Until you heal the source of your trauma, cannot move forward. If you haven't talked with one parent a long time, reach out to see if you could learn about their perspective and put yourself in their shoes. Number three, recognize the patterns in your behavior. If you're constantly seeking out relationships and workplace environments that are filled with hostility, take a moment to recognize that this may be a subconscious attempt to recreate the environment you experienced during your parents' divorce. Number four, look for work environments that incorporate training programs on how to diffuse conflict in a productive way. And then the last one, number five, value communication in your personal relationships. It's important to talk about the behaviors that you do not want to repeat in your romantic relationships that you witnessed during the breakdown of your parents' marriage. So
Those are
you
good
never get
tips.
over it, right?
Yeah, no, they're good tips. I mean, that may have been a trauma to you as a child, and these are ways to overcome that trauma and also to not repeat the same patterns and possibly mistakes. And I think that's a good thing. And obviously, sometimes you will do the same things that your parents did, which is fine too. But it's good to recognize what it is and make that decision and, you know, then consciously know if those are things you want or not, or you're just doing it because you're stuck in some kind of trauma cycle.
Okay. I'm looking to the next part of the show where people online post, and it's the part we call Dear Emily, where I don't know why I said I was going to say my wife's name, Amrita, but Emily goes through posts and tips, and let's see the first one. This one's an interesting one. I've never seen this one. Questions about forensic accountant. Hello, everyone. I'm at the point where I can't stop thinking about getting out of my marriage. Long story short, my husband has always been hiding money. We have never had mutual accounts. And when we moved from the big city where I had job opportunities to the suburban area where I started helping with his business, which he always called our business, then we moved to a bigger city where I kept helping our business. Anyways, all funds from our business go to his account. So basically, I have only what I managed to saved up during these years, and his arrest, and I don't know anything about his accounts. I want to be prepared for a divorce, and most likely we'll have to hire forensic accountants and dig for the information. Has anyone gone through this? How much did it cost? Was it worth it? And did it help?
Well, that's a good question. Forensics can be really useful in divorce. They can help trace funds that you're trying to figure out where they came from. They can help, figure out values of businesses. They can help determine your interest in a property if it wasn't purchased during the marriage. So they can be really useful. I mean, the cost can range, I'd say, in California, anywhere from probably $1,500 to no limit, depending on what you need done. I mean, I've had cases where we've had so much stuff to value that it's probably been $100,000 for the forensic, but I wouldn't say that's common. I mean, I'd say you're looking in more like the 2,500 to 7,500 range for a normal case where that doesn't have a zillion things to value. But it's definitely a useful tool if you think there's more than that amount of money to gain there.
I like the name forensic. It's like CSI, where it's
Yeah.
like
Well, because
very
they're
tactical.
they're doing the same kind of thing as CSI. They're taking clues of whatever information they've been able to get from the other party and using it to determine what happens when a lot of times the other side may not be that forthright, you know what I mean, and forthcoming. And so it is kind of similar, or it's like forensic psychology where you're figuring out what somebody was thinking when they did something. So it's kind of like
Yeah, murder mystery.
that. Maybe not quite as exciting, but
All right, let's go to the next one. This one's expensive mistakes. I divorced my husband officially almost 1 year ago. I feel like I flourished as a person, gained so many wonderful people in my life, and my relationship with my kids is amazing. This was um, ex's second divorce. He doesn't have a relationship with his daughters from his previous marriage. He's moving in with our former marriage counselor. He went through bankruptcy while I was saddled with 20,000 plus in debt, gambling, and other expenses from our marriage. In the end, I left the house. I didn't even have a mattress to sleep on. I had to build everything from scratch and create a new life for myself. I did negotiate for some compensation in the divorce, but I didn't touch his retirement. I asked for a flat amount from the house, and I just wanted my life back. Recently, he sold our house to move in with the counselor. He's making $40,000 on that, on top of what he's paying me. I'm not mad he's getting money, but people are approaching me and rubbing it in my face. Why didn't you ask for more? He's peacocking around like he won. I know it's just money, and in the end, my freedom and my love from my friends, family, and new is so much worth more worth to me than anything. But I cried when I heard the news. I'm going to have to be there and sign the papers. He's going to be smiling at me at the whole time, and I can't express to you the drama this man has caused me.
that's tough. I mean, but she is right. Like, there are things worth more than money. Your peace of mind, your family, your friends, knowing you took the high road and were the bigger person. That's more important than money. And sometimes it is worth it to settle, even if you think you could have gotten more, because you're buying your peace of mind and you're saving attorney fees from going to court. And, those are all positives. So, of course, there's pluses and minuses to every decision, but she has to focus on why she made that decision, because there was a reason. And it's probably because she was, paying a little bit for her freedom.
All right, the last post of the day seems it has to do with a sleep divorce, but says man cave here. Who gets the man cave? The man cave furniture. Okay, I'm about a month from filing and my wife reached out to me and told me, or my ex-husband reached out to me. He would be coming by to get some furniture. Doing this with him because talking with him is often stressful and ends with me being frustrated and unheard. About 2 years ago, I gifted him a man cave overall, complete with new furniture, custom hand-printed mural, and more. When he left, I was very specifically asked if he would need anything else from the house or if he would be back for anything. And he said no. Once he was out of the house, I moved out of the spare where I had been sleeping and did an overhaul of the man cave. It also is the best room in the house and made it my personal bedroom. The furniture was dispersed throughout the house and repurposed. I love where things are now. He told me today he would be by and he would pick up some items this week. And I asked for details, and he listed off a number of items. I wasn't aware that he planned on taking it. Do I have to give up the furniture, or do I get to keep it?
Well, good question. So furniture bought during the marriage is all community property, so it's split equally. And if one person wants to keep it, then usually you have to pay the other person half the value of it. But that's not the value you bought it for, it's garage sale value. So, if you bought your new couch for $3,000, but it would only sell for 1,000 today, then you're only splitting 1,000. But yeah, I mean, it is an asset to be divided. And if one person wants it, they're going to have to buy the other person out.
I doubt that like a man cave painting is an asset.
I know,
garage
right?
sale.
But I can't even tell you how much people fight over that kind of stuff because for emotional reasons.
Okay, at least we got a laugh out of the last post. Everything, you have to laugh about things. April 26th, we're going into May. Is there anything in court that's coming up? And I know I hear here in California, there might be a recall.
Yeah, there might be, and Caitlyn Jenner's running, so that's interesting. So we'll see how that goes. And no, not really anything. I broke my kneecap this weekend, so I get to hobble around court for the next couple weeks. So that should be fun. So, if you see someone there on crutches trying to maneuver the courthouse, it's probably me.
Yeah, is it like in court? Do they have you like I know like in church you stand up and you have to is it mandatory to I'm trying to think if
like stand up and sit down.
Yeah, you're like
usually the judges will let us sit the whole time, thank goodness.
Oh yeah.
But especially
okay.
if you're injured, then they're gonna let you sit, I'm sure.
All right, just checking, just making sure it doesn't hold you back to do anything. So let's we should do this thing where we update your progress. Like day one of intermittent fasting. Like there's people on YouTube.
Oh, right. Day one of broken patella. Can't walk. Can't drive. Stuck at home.
Yeah. So with that, so with that, tune in to the next episode of the Life After the podcast / Broken Patella. All right, bye.